Welcome to the Wasteland Carding Central. Did you know that in the time it takes you to read this sentence, some poor sap just got his identity stolen? It's true. Welcome to the wonderful world of carding, where your credit card information is just another commodity. Bought and sold like a cheap knockoff watch on a shady street corner. Think of it as the Wild West. But instead of saloons and tumbleweeds, we have online forums and stolen credit card numbers. It's a lawless frontier where the bad guys are always one step ahead and the good guys are too busy writing strongly worded letters to actually do anything about it. But hey, at least we have those little chip readers on our credit cards now, right? Those must count for something, surely. Let's talk about CC dumps, shall we? Imagine your credit card information as a delicious, juicy steak. A CC dump is basically a digital mold of that steak, capturing all the essential information needed to make a perfect, unauthorized copy. We're talking names, card numbers, expiration dates, security codes, the whole shebang. It's identity theft on steroids, and it's easier to get your hands on than you might think. These dumps are bought and sold on the dark web, those hidden corners of the internet, where you can find anything from illegal firearms to, well, stolen credit card information. It's like Amazon for criminals, but with less customer service and a higher chance of getting arrested. Now you might be thinking, but John, what about those fancy EMV chips in our cards? Aren't those supposed to stop this kind of thing? Well, my friend, you'd be right. In a perfect world, that is. See, EMV chips were supposed to be the magic bullet, the silver lining in the dark cloud of credit card fraud. They were going to make it virtually impossible for criminals to clone your card and go on a spending spree. But here's the thing about criminals. They're resourceful little buggers. They saw the EMV chip as a challenge, a puzzle to be solved, and solve it they did with something called EMV software. Who are these masterminds behind the carding curtain, you ask? Well, they're not all criminal masterminds, to be honest. Some are just bored teenagers with too much time on their hands and a penchant for online mischief. Others are more organized, operating in sophisticated rings that span the globe. They're the ones who develop the software, maintain the online marketplaces, and launder the ill-gotten gains. But no matter their level of sophistication, they all have one thing in common. They're exploiting a system that's about as secure as a screen door on a submarine. And until we address the systemic issues that allow carding to flourish, these digital pirates will continue to sail the high seas of the internet, plundering our financial information with impunity. The unsettling world of carding is where innocent people become victims of cyber criminals. These aren't just numbers on a screen, these are real people with real lives. Imagine checking your bank account to find thousands in unauthorized charges. Your heart sinks. Sarah was a victim of a carding scheme. Her information was sold on the dark web. The bank said she might be liable for some charges because she hadn't reported her card stolen. Now you'd think with all the fancy technology and high-priced consultants at their disposal, banks and credit card companies would have this whole cybersecurity thing figured out by now, right? Wrong. They love to trot out their experts after every major data breach, spouting jargon and platitudes about enhanced security measures and proactive monitoring. It's all a bunch of meaningless gibberish designed to make us feel better, like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. But the truth is they're playing catch-up, always one step behind the criminals. It's like they're fighting a war with pool noodles while the bad guys are armed with rocket launchers. And let's not forget our elected officials, those brave souls who swear to protect us from all threats, foreign and domestic. They love to talk tough on cybercrime, especially during election season when they need to scare up some votes. They promise to crack down on hackers, increase funding for cybersecurity, and pass legislation to hold companies accountable for data breaches. It's enough to make you want to stand up and salute, if you weren't too busy canceling your credit cards. But once the cameras are gone and the votes are counted, it's back to business as usual. The bills get stuck in committee, the funding dries up, and the cycle of inaction continues. It's enough to make you wonder if they even know how to turn on a computer, let alone combat cybercrime. Think carding is just a victimless crime? Think again. The truth is, we're all paying the price for this digital Wild West, whether we realize it or not. Every time someone's credit card information is stolen, it drives up costs for everyone. Banks and credit card companies pass on their losses to consumers in the form of higher fees and interest rates. Merchants raise their prices to cover the cost of fraud. So the next time you notice higher prices at your favorite store, remember, it's partly due to carding. So, what does the future hold for the world of carding and cybercrime? If I had to guess, I'd say it's going to get a whole lot worse before it gets better. As technology advances, so too will the tools and techniques of the bad guys. They're constantly adapting, evolving, and finding new ways to exploit our digital vulnerabilities. We're talking about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and the Internet of Things, all incredibly powerful tools that can be used for good or evil. In the wrong hands, they could usher in a new era of cybercrime, one where our data is even more vulnerable and the consequences of fraud are even more dire. So buckle up, Buttercup, because it's going to be a wild ride. For more details and in-depth analysis, make sure to watch our next video. Stay informed and stay safe. The world of carding is dark and twisty, filled with shadowy figures and stolen data. Stay informed, be vigilant, and protect yourself. Goodbye and take care.